Hey guys, it's Katie and welcome to another video, and in today's video I'm actually doing a tag video. I haven't done a tag video in a while, so I'm sorry about that, but I've been seeing this one floating around BookTube and it looks really fun and it's the perfect time to do one as we are sort of midway through the year. But this is the mid-year book freakout tag, and I'll leave the original creator down in the description box below. It wasn't tagged by anybody at all, I just saw it and I wanted to actually do this. It was actually created like a couple of years ago, but people have been sort of bouncing back and they've done it last year and this year, and it's sort of like the perfect tag to sort of do throughout the year because it's just sort of like an assessment of the books that you have read so far in the year, and it sort of gives you like a second outlook on your reading and whether you need to pick up the pace. I'm definitely one of those people that needs to pick up the pace, and again that is why I'm doing this tag. But it's really interesting actually to see like my answers to the questions as well, because it didn't take me too long to sort of think about the answers. I just looked at the books that I read on my Goodreads and then I just sort of put them towards the questions. But anyway, without further ado, let's get started with this tag. So the first question is, what is the best book that you have read so far this year? For me, I have chosen I Have No Secrets by Penny Jolson. I'll pick the picture over here, but it was such an amazing book. This book is about a girl and she is in a wheelchair, she is a mute, she cannot communicate, and this is really interesting because she learns this secret and she really needs to communicate it to everybody because it's quite a severe sort of situation, and it just sort of like puts in perspective what it's like for people in wheelchairs, for people that can't communicate, that they really actually can listen, they can communicate in some form, but they can't push it back. So this is just like her story, and it's just really interesting, it's great, it's different, and it's just such an awesome story, and I really enjoyed it, and it was definitely my favourite book so far this year. Next question is the best sequel that you've read so far this year. I haven't really read a lot of sequels this year, so this was really hard to pick, and so I had to go towards the graphic novels that as of late I finished. I started reading the physical form of Corpse Party, which is like a bind up of like the first 3 volumes, and I really enjoyed this. I actually watched the like computer game of it and I watched the anime of it, so to read it in graphic novel form it was really interesting. And then I found the others online, so I sort of read them online, and I actually really enjoyed reading the series, and yeah, it was really good. So I'm gonna have to say like the Corpse Party graphic novel series is definitely one that you guys need to read if you love your gore and your horror and your animes. Next question is new release that you haven't read yet but you want to, and I have decided to pick this new release which everybody is raving about at the moment. It's a recent purchase of mine and I am so super excited to give it a read. I have a massive urge to give it a read, and this is When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon, and this is just a really sort of interesting contemporary that I believe is about this girl and this boy, and their parents are sort of sorting out an arranged marriage, and one of them is all up for this arranged marriage and yet the other one isn't, and I just think that just sounds really different, and I'm really looking forward to reading it, and I'm super excited too. Next question is the most anticipated release for the second half of this year. For this one I'm going to have to go with Marie Lu's new book, which is Warcross, I believe it's called. I'll place a picture of it over here, but it sounds absolutely fascinating, and just the premise of it, I'm just like, oh my god, yes. So I'm so super looking forward to giving this a read. I'm definitely going to be pre-ordering it and reading it hopefully straight away as soon as it's out. Next question is, what is your biggest disappointment so far this year? For this one I'm going to have to go with the sequel, The 12 Days of Dash and Lily, which comes after Dash and Lily's Book of Dares. I just didn't connect with it like I did with the first book. I felt like the essence of the two characters wasn't there, and I just found Lily to be so annoying in the second book, and I found it really irritating that I ended up just not finishing the book. It really honestly put me off reading it. I wasn't enjoying it, and it just was a really sucky sequel, and so let down by it. The next question is, what was the biggest surprise for you? For this one, I went for The Boy Is Back by Meg Cabot, and this is like her latest book that is in this sort of series but not series, and I was quite surprised because I had a lot of people saying that they didn't like it, but I found that I actually really enjoyed it. And it's just basically about this guy and this woman, and they had like this fling, they went out and then something happened and so they broke up, and then it's just like a fair few years later and they just end up meeting along the way, and it just sort of clashes like that, and it's just sort of told in emails and documents and that sort of thing. I found it really interesting. I just saw like the dry wit and humour that was coming across the emails, and I just found it really entertaining, and to find that not a lot of people did enjoy it and yet I did, I found that quite surprising. Next question is favourite new author. I don't really have like a favourite new author as of such, but I feel like I should definitely mention Sarah J Maas. I have this year just got back into reading her books again, and I'm just finding the love of her writing again, and just her as an author, and I feel like I neglected her like last year and before that, and only just this year have I, you know, got back into reading like A Court of Thorns and Roses. I reread that again, and now I'm reading A Court of Mist and Fury, and I'm reading Air of Fire, and I'm just really enjoying her writing all over again. And so she's not really a new author to me as such, but just newly discovering her authorness, as you were. Like, it's just so nice to see her writing and her stories, and I'm feeling like I'm just loving her books all over again. Next question is, what is your new fictional crush? For this I have to go for Rhysand from the Court of Thorns and Roses series. I really like the sort of dark and mysterious guys, and I prefer him to Tamlin, and so he is definitely just the sort of guy, every time he comes on in the scenes, in the chapters, in the book, I'm just like, oh my goodness. So yeah, I definitely love him so much. And I like Lucian as well, but it's got to be Rhysand. He is just, I'm just loving it so far in A Court of Mist and Fury. Next question is, who is your favourite new character? For this I had to go for Noah from Noah Can't Even, and this is just a really sort of interesting book that is about this boy, and he's just sort of like discovering himself. One day his boy best friend ends up kissing him, and he doesn't know what to do about it or what to think about it, so it's just about him discovering about himself, and it's just very hilarious, and he's such an awesome and funny character. Next question is, what was a book that made you cry? And unfortunately I don't have any books that have made me cry so far this year. It's very rare to make me cry, and not a single book has managed to do that yet. Next book was, what is the favourite book that has made you feel really happy this year? And I will have to go with Noah Can't Even again. I was laughing out loud within the first few pages of this book, and then again still continuing to laugh throughout the book. It's just very hilarious and very funny. Simon James Green is just absolutely fantastic, and I'm really happy to announce that they are actually releasing a sequel to this book, and I'm so super excited because I absolutely loved and adored the first book. It was just so good, so funny. I definitely recommend it for you to read if you love your LGBT novels, or if you want a good laugh. It's just packed with both of those things. The next question is, what is your favourite book to movie adaptation this year so far? This one I'm going to have to go with quite an oldie. My boyfriend introduced me to the Hannibal Lecter series. I've watched about 2 or 3 of the movies so far, and I found them really enjoyable. So much that I probably would actually read them, but they are originally done as books and into movies, and it's just so clever and it's really enjoyable, and I really enjoyed it. I just had to close my blinds because there was a policeman that was just randomly standing outside my door looking around for someone, and just in case they were looking for me, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna hide. So next question is, what is the most beautiful book that you have received this year or purchased? This one I'm going for this arc because it's just absolutely beautiful. This is The Waking Land by Callie Bates, and it's receiving a lot of hype lately. Okay, it comes out the end of June, and so I'm really like looking forward to this. It just sounds different and really awesome and exciting, and I just think this arc is absolutely beautiful and sort of mysterious and kind of like a forest, and I just had to share with you this beautiful arc copy. Last but not least, the last question is, what books do you have left to read this year? And I'm just going to say the 17 books to read in 2017 are going to be the books that I definitely need to get read and done by this year. So I will link the video that I did of that down in the description box below for you to check out. I have only read a few of them so far, so I need to get my, I just need to get my arse in gear, because it's just so bad that I've just been completely ignoring that pile of books and just reading other books. And I selected them for a reason, so I need to get them read, and I definitely need to just get my arse in gear. It's just absolutely terrible. So those are definitely going to be the books that I would like to get read the rest of the year. But other than that, that is the end of this tag. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up if you have. Keep smiling, keep reading, and be happy. My name is Katie, and I'll see all of you wonderful, awesome people in my next video. Bye!